Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we are coming in with the fourth round of the Pokemon TCG Players Cup that happened this past weekend. Round 1, I had a bye. Now, I have uploaded rounds 2 and 3. If you haven't seen them yet, there are links in the description. Go and check them out now, because there be spoilers. Round 2, I played against a Blacephalon, and I lost through bad draws, bad luck, and not an insignificant amount of bad play, if I'm honest with you, plus an actual factual misclick. Then in the previous round, in round 3, I again hit some bad luck and some suboptimal play. I got very, very lucky with a Marnie at one point, scraped my way into the game before finally actually just winning a game outright. And I finally scraped by Blacephalon, which was supposed to be a good matchup. And my reward is this. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I get to play against a Pikachu and Zekrom with Boltund deck. And I'm playing Excadrill. And I was playing Spiritomb, but I'm playing Excadrill. In the events that I was using to qualify for the Players' Cup, I played this kind of deck 16 times. I won 15 and lost 1. The one loss being where I just didn't set up. My deck failed me, could not get rolling. So, after a fairly nail-biting start to the tournament, I'm starting to feel good. But then again, I did lose to this once in qualifying. But it is a best of 3. So with this kind of game, it's very straightforward. I need Zebstrika and I need Excadrill. I need a Zebstrika to keep my deck rolling when I get rolling. I need Excadrill because Excadrill basically just KOs anything. Weirdly do end up winning the flip. I keep winning the flip in this tournament just over and over again. That is not a great opening hand. Because here's the thing, right? I can get a Drillbur and then evolve it into an Excadrill. But I don't have any, again, I don't have a draw supporter. Now, if you watch the rest of my games, you will know that I think maybe like one in the past 4 or 5 games I've started with draw supporter, still don't have one here. And I can go for Dedenne, but if I go for Dedenne here, I am losing 2 of my 3 Excadrill, and I am losing my Ordinary Rod or one of my 2 Ordinary Rod as well. Now, I can at least get rid of an Excadrill with the Quick Ball and get it back in. So now at least I'm only losing 1 Excadrill and an Ordinary Rod. But that is something we have got to keep in mind for the rest of the game. And you'll notice, still no supporter, which is not ideal. Don't forget to put the damage on Spiritomb, Wassy. There we go. If you haven't noticed, I am recording this after the fact. I recorded, obviously, the game as I was playing, but I cannot commentate entertainingly and play optimally at the same time, so I'm afraid they were recorded, and we are commentating after the fact. So my opponent does have their Pikachu and Zekrom. They've got the energy. They go for Guzma and Hala. Oh, that means it's Thunder Mountain's prized. Because what you go for here is a Speed Energy and a Thunder Mountain. There we go. And a Big Charm. But the Big Charm's irrelevant here because I've already benched my Diancie, and I need to bench my Diancie. Big Charm takes Pikachu and Zekrom out of range of an Excadrill. So, yeah. And I do just say to the opponent, like, you saw me not play a supporter. But it is all in jest. I mean, I'm fully aware that my opponent does not want to play this matchup. Again, this is an open deck list tournament, so my opponent knows I'm playing a fat Excadrill line. So the downside to my opponent, of course, is that Thunder Mountain being prized, it whiffed them the attack. They would have attacked, KO'd, and accelerated free energy had they been able to actually do that. Oh, it's not a Zebstrika. And now I am in real trouble here. Now, I don't evolve into Excadrill. I've got 2 Drillbur that can evolve. If I evolve, and there's no point even playing Power Packs, there's no draw supporter in my discard. If I evolve into Excadrill, that gives my opponent an option. Now, I mean, if my opponent takes a KO and I top deck an energy, then I take free, or, you know, except a basic fighting, then I take free prizes, and that's, of course, drawing free cards, and I'm in a great position here. So, I mean, again, there's a lot of outs. There is a Great Ball if it draws a Zebstrika. Zebstrika, any of my energy, any of my supporters. There are many, and this is what I've been saying in the previous games, right? I'm not don't get me wrong, I'm moaning a little bit about my draws here, but statistically speaking, I should be drawing one of my 8 supporters, or one of my 7 energy, or one of my 3 Zeb Striker by this point in the game, especially after playing a Dedenne. Now, I do get the energy here, and that's kind of huge. It's still not a supporter, but it's not the end of the world. My opponent cannot get a double KO here, so I'm going to... Oh, I just lost an Excadrill, which means I've got no Excadrill left in my deck right now. I'm playing 3 Excadrill, and I just hit one off of that. And remember, I lost my Ordinary Rod earlier in the game, so I have got to draw an Ordinary Rod, or I'm not getting a good attack next turn. And that is worrying. And this is how games against good matchups start spiraling. Don't have a supporter for a couple of turns, so I can't search out my Pokemon, but it's not the end of the world. But then I end up in this position, where my opponent is going to take down my only Excadrill. I don't have an Excadrill left in my deck. I need an Ordinary Rod, but I've already used an Ordinary Rod. And, you know, my opponent knows that if I get another Excadrill, it's pretty much game. But it doesn't matter. Now, there is a Tapu Koko, so it's not quite game yet. You know, my opponent is going to be able to... They've got a backup attacker. I mean, to be honest with you, right, Excadrill bosses orders, I win the game right here. But I don't have... My opponent should know at this stage I don't have an Excadrill. Now, what I would want at this stage, I would want a Spiritomb on the bench. That would be an ideal scenario, but because of my draws early game, I don't have a Spiritomb on the bench. So, I mean, it's doable. What I need here, and there is a Spiritomb, what I need to do here is play the Professor's Research, hit my last Ordinary Rod, and a Zeb Striker, and then Zeb Striker to hopefully draw the Excadrill. And now I'm in an awkward position. Do I put the rate? I should Oh, it's so awkward. Because it's really hard to know what to do here. Because it's going very badly. Now, I'm leaving a bench space because I want another Drillbur. And I don't hit a Drillbur, but I do hit a Ditto. And I hit a Zeb Striker. But at this stage, I don't have an Excadrill. Which is really... Now, I can Rototiller here. And what's really annoying is I have to Rototiller in an Excadrill. I don't want to. I want to get my Ordinary Rod back. But it needs to be in my deck, not ready to be recovered. So my attack for the turn is literally just going to be a Drillbur using Rototiller. I still don't hit the Ordinary Rod. And this is bad. Now, I can Air Balloon. See, the right play here is to Rototiller and then hope I can hit the Excadrill off of that Great Ball next turn. There we go. So I get the Excadrill back. At least it's now in my deck. And now I can... Yeah. And the problem, it's feeding my... Now, I've not lost. But remember, that Dedenne is... It is, well, speeding up the clock a little bit here. If I didn't have Dedenne on the bench, I'd have an extra turn to get rolling. Generally speaking, I do not mind popping a Dedenne on the bench against Excadrill. The prize race is so hilariously in my favour that if they're using Excadrill, if they're using Pikachu and Zekrom, even if they get a KO and KO a bench Dedenne with their GX attack, they're still only breaking even because I'm going to take 3 prizes off them. Oh, I don't hit an Excadrill. And now, do I put the energy on Spiritomb? And no, because I've kind of committed. And there's an argument here that what I should have done is just commit to Spiritomb and just get an attack or 2 off with Spiritomb and hope for Excadrill later. Now, I do hit a Drillbur here, and I do have a Great Ball, but I don't have an energy. Oh, and I whiff it off that as well. And at this stage, the game is falling apart. I'm going to lose my Ditto. And again, it's still not over. I've basically got 1 turn. Next turn, I need Excadrill, energy, boss's orders. And I will still win the game in that regard, let's be clear. If I get Excadrill, energy, boss's orders, I still win the game next turn. My opponent is extremely... I don't think they can get a proper tag bolt off for 3 prizes. So I've still got a turn. but it's not looking good at this stage. So I do sprint because I don't have any of the free cards I need in my hand. The game is not lost at this stage. Okay, it's winnable. I don't have the Excadrill still, but I've got an energy and I've got a boss's orders. So next turn, if I can finally find the Excadrill off of the Zebstrika, and remember, I can't play a supporter because I need boss's orders, and my opponent knows this, right? So they're going to leave Boltund in the active. There's boss's orders, and that is the right play. That is absolutely the right play from my opponent. That was a great play from them. I still feel fairly confident I was going to win this game. Yeah. And there's the Super Rod. So I could have Super Rodded both my Excadrill. I could literally have Super Rodded in 2 Excadrill and then drawn 4 cards, and all 3 Excadrill are in my deck. That was a great play from my opponent, and as much as I've drawn very badly this game, and I have, and as much as I've gotten unlucky with all of my Excadrill ending up in the discard, my opponent's decision there to boss his orders Zebstrika is a game-winning play. Because now, he knows I got to boss his orders. He knows I have to boss his orders. So, by taking out the Zebstrika, he's basically going, well, either you're not... If you had the Excadrill, you would have played it last turn. So, either you top deck the Excadrill and you got boss's orders in hand, or you're not winning the game next turn. And that was just a great play from my opponent. It was absolutely what they needed to do. And like I say, I still feel confident if they don't do that. If they don't take out Zebstrika, I still think I'm going to win the game, because there's 3 Excadrill in my deck, I'm drawing 4 cards, there's a great chance. But they did. And now there's nothing really to boss. There's nothing really to go for. I've lost the game. And at this stage, I have lost the game. Because I mean, I can try and buy a turn, maybe. But the reality is that the chances of my opponent not winning are just minuscule. So I pass the turn. I assume they're going to get... they need an energy and a boss's orders. And look at their hand size at this stage. And they've got boss's orders left in there. Oh, so there's Mallow and Lana. And there's a great catcher. Okay, so they had a great catcher as well. And there goes Dedenne. I could concede, but I don't know, especially when I'm recording it, I like to see the game play out. So that was a worst case scenario. I told you I had 15 out of 16 wins in qualifying, and I'm now 0-1. But that was a worst case scenario game, all right? I won the coin flip again. So that was a worst case scenario game. That was a everything went wrong. Could not draw Excadrill. I had several turns of doing nothing, and then when I got rolling, I was out of Excadrill. I could not draw into them. I don't expect that to happen again in the next 2 games. So I'm still confident. Now, that was a good play from my opponent. They popped down the power plant there to try and make sure that I don't have an option for Dedenne. But I've got the turn 1 Blitzle. I have finally gotten an energy. Oh, sorry, a supporter turn 1. And now we can be rolling. Oh, and I've hit a Drilbur as well, and a supporter, and this is it. I'm already looking at this game and going, yeah, we're good. I am already feeling confident about this game. I'd like to have gone for the second Blitzle there, but I do need the attacker. Here's what's weird, though. This 40 damage from Anguish Cry is sneaky huge. Because next turn, I pop a damage counter on with the ability. I go up to 2 damage. Then I attach a Rainbow Energy to go up to 3 damage. Hustle Band means I hit 160. With the 40 on there is 200. I've actually got the KO on Boltund in hand. I mean, they're probably going to KO it, to be fair. But if they don't get a KO this turn, I'm actually going to KO that Boltund and then draw a fresh hand of 7 cards, which is kind of ridiculous. I think my opponent probably will get the KO, to be fair. But if they get the KO, I've got a Drilbur and an energy, and I've got a Professor's Research in hand and a Blitzle on the bench. So, okay, there's the air balloon. So the full Blitz is going to come down for the KO. But the thing is, now, at some point later in the game, a free damage Hustle Belt Spiritomb can take out that Boltund. And that is a huge turn of events. Now, there is the energy, no mucking about there. I really want to hit a Spiritomb. Oh, I hit 2. So I can get the Spiritomb, and then I can attach the Hustle Belt. And then, I mean, if I've got a Rainbow Energy next turn, then I KO the Pikachu and Zekrom. My opponent KOs Drillbur. Spiritomb gets the KO. And there we go. There's the Pokemon communication. So there is the KO this turn. And then I've essentially taken 5 prizes after giving up 1 with 2 Drillbur and a Zebstrika on the bench. And this is what my deck is supposed to do in this matchup. The Spiritomb's a handy bonus, although again, the option that I've got the Spiritomb there is something that regular Excadrill decks just don't have. It is worth pointing out, in the previous game, I only play 3 Excadrill in this deck. I initially played one of the Unified Minds, I cut it last minute, but because I'd played so many games with only 3 of the good Excadrill, I never felt like I needed another. But now look at this board. I've got a Zebstrika and a Blitzel, I've got an Excadrill, I've got 2 Drillbur, I've got my Spiritomb, which is genuinely relevant, and everything is starting to look very good. This, and again, I feel vain saying I'm really sorry if I sound like that. Oh, and there's my Rainbow Energy. So I've got the KO next turn as well. But I've played this matchup, and I've said about the 16 games I played in the Players' Cup qualifying. There's another couple dozen that I just played in random versus games. This is generally how this game goes. This is usually what happens in this kind of game. It is about as good a matchup as this deck will have. And I do feel extremely confident playing it. I've got the KO on the Boltund in hand without using an Excadrill. Now, my opponent is going to reset stamp me here, but I've got the Zebstrika, so it's not... I'm going to be honest with you, I really liked my hand. But I do have a Professor Sycamore. Now, that big charm is going to mean I'm going to need Diancie, or just to get down to 3 cards or fewer in my deck, but that's alright. Now, I've still got 3 Rainbow Energy in the deck, so I feel fairly confident I'm going to hit one. I've got Professor's Research. I've got... Yeah, I've got 2 attackers there. I can actually try and set up here for a treble Zebstrika. But of course, you go Diancie. Diancie's huge, and the other thing is, I found foul of this in a previous round. You've got to get the Diancie out early, because if you attack with with Excadrill, you discard 4 random cards. Okay, so we don't have it yet, but there is nothing in that hand I'm not willing to discard. Now, we don't need any Pokemon, so we're just getting a basic energy here. We don't want to put too many cards in our deck because we need the Rainbow Energy. We can get a decent attack off with a Darkness, but we want Rainbow Energy. Okay, so there's the Rainbow Energy and a second Zebstrika. And now we are rolling here. I'm going to go down to 1 prize remaining. Even if my opponent reset stamps me, I can draw another 8 cards with Zebstrika. So what they're actually doing is reset stamping me to 9. And all I need next turn is an energy. Or if they KO the Excadrill, I need an Excadrill and an energy. And I've even got the energy in hand now. So my opponent's asking to go second. They can see the writing on the wall. And that's actually sneaky big. That's genuinely a little bit worrying, because this matchup is very, very heavily in my favor. But my opponent is playing a deck that can get a good attack turn 1. So what they're trying to do is donk me. And I don't blame them for this, incidentally. What they're basically doing is saying, look, I'm going to hope that you start with 1 Pokemon and I can knock it out on my first turn going second, while you're not allowed to attack or use supporters. It's cheeky, but it's absolutely the right call, and I'll be honest with you, it's not something I'm terribly excited about. I was just trying to get rid of a card from my deck there to increase my chances of hitting an energy. There is the energy, and that will be the game, even with the big charm. So, yeah. This is how the game is supposed to go. This should be a fairly straightforward game. If I get Excadrill and Zebstrika out, I win the game. It really is as simple as that. But going into game 3, my opponent has chosen to go second. They are looking for the donk. So I'm thinking now immediately, I need 2 basics. I only have 1 basic. Now, I do have a Great Ball, but that Great Ball's got to hit a Pokemon. Because we genuinely are. Like, I am at risk of being knocked out by an incredibly favourable matchup here. Now, we do have 2 Great Ball, and we don't hit one. Are you actually kidding me? So this Great Ball is huge. I need a basic. Okay. We got the basic. The question is Drilbur or Blitzel. It's got to be Drilbur. Because then I can potentially get a KO next turn and start the prize race rolling. I want the... And I bench that second Pokemon and my opponent's like, oh. And at this stage, I'm afraid, my lovely ladies and gentlemen, I need to apologise. That's not a very good reason, is it? My computer ran out of space. And I didn't realise until after the game. It did record a tiny bit more after that. But unfortunately, it wasn't really very much. I had the very beginning of the game, so I wanted to show you that I had a second basic. And from there, I did win the game. It was a fairly straightforward game. It went as you would expect it. I'm really sorry, but it was basically the same as game 2. For anyone who wants a technical explanation, I got 2 drives on my computer. C is not that big, D is gigantic. It should have been saving in D. I thought it was saving in D. It was in fact saving in C. C got full, and then at the end of the game when I went to check, it said, oh yeah, no, we stopped recording. Do you want to select a new drive? And it was too late. But I do win the game, and I do go to 3-1, and now I've got an actual factual winner in. I'm actually in a position now where if I win the next game, I am genuinely going to be going through to the top 64 in a way which I did not expect it. Thank you to my opponent for being a good sport. I'm sorry it was such a bad matchup. It sucks to have that kind of game. Never mind. We'll be back with the next round very shortly. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll be back shortly with the next round. Bye.